The thus come one has incalculable, limitless asakamyas of merit. If you were to tell of them for incalculable millions of kalpas, you could not finish. Know that the thus come one is king of the dharmas. If he has anything to say, it is never in vain. He sets forth all dharmas by resort to wisdom and practical expedients. Without exception, the dharmas he preaches all reach to the ground of all knowledge. The thus come one sees and knows that to which all dharmas tend, that to which they are reduced. He also knows what the profound thoughts of all living beings can do, penetrating them without obstruction. Furthermore, with respect to the dharmas, he is perfectly clear, demonstrating all manner of wisdom to the beings. Consider the grasses, trees, shrubs, and forests, as well as the medicinal herbs, in their several varieties, and their different names and colors, that the mountains and rivers, the dales and vales of the 1,000,000,000-fold world produce. A thick cloud spreads out, covering the whole 1,000,000,000-fold world, and raining down on every part of it equally at the same time, its infusions reaching everywhere. The grass and trees, the shrubs and forests, and the medicinal herbs, whether of small roots, stalks, branches, and leaves, or of middle-sized roots, stalks, branches, and leaves, and also all trees, great and small, whether high, intermediate, or low, all receive some of it. Everything rained on by the same cloud, in keeping with its nature, gains in size, and its blossoms and fruit spread out and bloom. Though produced by the same earth, and moistened by the same rain, yet the grasses and trees all have their differences. Know that the thus come one is also like this. He appears in the world as the great cloud rises. With the sound of his great voice, he pervades the world with its gods, its men, and its asuras, just as that great cloud covers the lands of the 1,000,000,000-fold world. In the midst of a great multitude, he proclaims these words: I am the thus come one, worthy of offerings, of right and universal knowledge, whose clarity and conduct are perfect, well gone, understanding the world, the unexcelled worthy, the regulator of men in stature, the teacher of gods and men, the Buddha, the world-honored one. Those who have not yet crossed over, I enable to cross. Those who do not yet understand, I cause to understand. Those not yet ease, I put at their ease. Those not yet in nirvana, I enable to attain nirvana. For this age and for later ages, I know things as they are. I am the one who knows all, the one who sees all, the one who knows the path, the one who opens the path, the one who preaches the path. You, multitude of gods, men, and asuras, should all come here in order to listen to the Dharma. At that time, numberless thousands of myriads of millions of kinds of living beings come before the Buddha and hear the Dharma. The thus come one at this time observes these beings, their keenness or dullness, their exertion or laxity, and, in accord with what they can hear, preaches the Dharma to them in an incalculable variety of modes, each causing them to rejoice and enabling them speedily to gain good advantage. These beings, having heard this Dharma, in the present age are tranquil and are later born in a good place. They enjoy pleasure consonant with the path and are also enabled again to hear the Dharma. When they have heard the Dharma, they are separated from obstacles, and in the midst of the Dharmas, in keeping with their powers, gradually contrive to enter upon the path. Just as that great cloud rains down on all grasses and trees, shrubs and forests, and medicinal herbs, and just as they all, in accord with their nature and kind, derive the full benefit of the moisture, each gaining in growth, just so is the Dharma preached by the thus come one of a single mark and a single flavor, namely the mark of deliverance, the mark of disenchantment, the mark of extinction, arriving completely at knowledge of all modes. Whenever there are beings who hear the Dharma of the thus come one, if they hold to it, read it, recite it, and act according to its preachings, then the merit they gain thereby shall be unknown and unnoticed even by themselves. What is the reason? Only the thus come one knows these beings, their kinds, their signs, their substance, their nature, what things they think back on, what things they think ahead to, what things they cultivate, how they think back, how they think ahead, how they practice, by resort to what dharmas do they think back, by resort to what dharmas they think ahead, by resort to what dharmas they practice, what dharmas they gain, and by what resort to what dharmas they gain it. The living beings dwell on a variety of grounds. Only the thus come one sees them for what they are and understands them clearly and without obstruction. Those grasses and trees, shrubs and forests, and medicinal herbs do not know themselves whether their nature is superior, intermediate, or inferior. But the thus come one knows this Dharma of a single mark and a single flavor, namely the mark of deliverance, the mark of disenchantment, the mark of extinction, the mark of ultimate nirvana, of eternally quiescent nirvana, finally reducing itself to emptiness. The Buddha, knowing this, observes the heart's desire of each of the beings and guides them protectively. For this reason, he does not immediately preach to them the knowledge of all modes. All of you are very rare in that you are able to know that the thus come one preaches the Dharma in accord with what is peculiarly appropriate, and in that you are able to believe and accept this. What is the reason? The Buddhas, the world-honored ones, preaching of the Dharma in accord with what is peculiarly appropriate, is difficult to understand and hard to know.